Now, for more on the top global players in the space industry, let's bring in Victoria Samson, Director of Secure World Foundation's Washington office. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So, Victoria, what are the main reasons and the benefits of having the US and China really collaborate more in this industry?
Well, it's absolutely amazing that we have not been able to collaborate at all due to US law preventing the United States from doing so, because we're the two major space powers, and there really are a lot of benefits to work together in order to ensure that everyone can continue to benefit from the use of space.
And let's speak to some of those benefits. What does each side really bring to the table and get out of this?
Well, I mean, the United States has the record of being the longest-standing country, or one of the longest-standing countries in space. Our budget is quite a bit more than the Chinese government on space issues, so we do have resources to put to it. But the Chinese have been doing tremendous work in terms of developing a space program, growing it, setting their sights for new goals, and I think that the new ideas and work that they put into the program could definitely benefit everyone.
Now, we know that NASA's researchers are prohibited from working bilaterally with Chinese citizens who are linked to the government or to state agencies. Why has it been that way, and do you ever foresee it changing?
Well, that dates back from 2011 when Congressman Wolf, who's no longer in the United States Congress, put in amendments, and this is largely due to concern about treatment of certain groups within China. I don't see it going away, even though I think it's pretty foolish, just because it requires a lot of political capital to change, and no one right now currently in the United States government wishes to do it.
Now, this has opened up opportunities, though, for private and commercial companies to collaborate with China. What are we seeing on that front?
Well, I think it's fascinating because the space domain has truly changed. It used to be solely the provenance of governments, and just a handful of that. And now space is becoming much more accessible to all, and you see a rise in the growth of commercial actors. And so it's fascinating to me that you see a commercial entity such as NanoRacks is able to find a way in which to work with the Chinese. I hope the United States government can follow suit.
So are we likely to see space get a bit more crowded then?
Oh, it's getting there.
Now, what about the potential impact on space exploration if down the line, China and the US really are able to collaborate more?
Well, I mean, the United States first, I think, needs to figure out what we want to do about space exploration, because there are a lot of different ideas. Should we go to an asteroid? Should we go back to the moon? Should we go to Mars? But I think that if multiple countries decide to go to the same place, it makes sense to combine resources and make sure you can get more bang for your investment.
Now, what about ordinary people? Obviously, we're seeing these people, they're going into space, they're bringing these experiments. How do people back on Earth benefit from this?
Well, I mean, space is entwined in our economy, in our communications, in basically everything, pretty much everything that we do. And so with this increased investment in space, we're finding new ways in which to find applications that can benefit us. For example, city planning, disaster management, long-distance education, things like that. So there are absolutely benefits to everyone from the use of space.
And what about related businesses? Oftentimes we'll see that a lot of things that were designed for space and for NASA end up having practical uses here, and people could really make money off of those. What sort of related businesses or perhaps emerging industries could really benefit from this?
Well, I mean, I think there's always spin-offs from this sort of thing, and we can definitely see a lot of that. What's also, I think, interesting is that we're seeing an explosion in terms of space capabilities that we had no idea even existed. For example, you know, there are companies putting up so many satellites that now the United States government is trying to get their information for Earth observation detection, whereas typically that had only been done by U.S. government satellites. And so it really goes both ways. Both sides benefit.
And what about in terms of challenges? As we begin to see space exploration become more economical, we're seeing things like SpaceX using these reusable rockets. Are there any challenges that you foresee?
Well, I mean, the biggest concern is always going to be the human element. Right now, pretty much the only people sending up people are governments. Once commercial entities start doing that, there's going to be concern about safety and whether or not they can do that. And then just, you know, if any person can buy a ticket to go up in space, are they going to be fit for it? You know, they're not young astronauts or in the peak of their youth. So it's going to be a different way of looking at things. As well, there's always concern about resources. Are they being used in an equitable manner? And are people getting equal access to it? The same concerns we have on Earth in terms of different countries getting places first and taking things for themselves. There's concerns about that as well.
Certainly some uncharted territory. Thank you so much, Victoria Samson from Secure World Foundation's Washington office.
Thank you.